So that was all of it. Wait,
Did you ever hear the tale of Stingy Jack? He was an old fella back in the days in Ireland. He got the name Stingy because he would never pay for anything. He would go to the bars and drink his fill of Guinness and whiskey, and then just run away off home. On his way home, he would jump into farmers' fields and grab himself a turnip, because turnips were his favourite food, and would help soak up all the alcohol. He would do this until he outstayed his welcome in every village across the land. In his 20s, in his 30s, in his 40s, in his 50s, and even into his 60s, nobody would welcome him. Then one fateful night, he swung the door open of one pub, and the barman says, "I know your game. I'm not serving you, you're just not going to pay." And Jack promised him that he changed his ways, and he would pay for his drink that night. So the barman gave him the benefit of the doubt, sat him down, gave him his fill. And at the end of the night, of course Jack did a runner. Off down the street he went. Now this was the last straw for the barman. He went out and got all the villagers. And of course, with any good villagers, they were just waiting with their pitchforks and their torches to chase old Jack out of town. Now Jack had high-heeled his way, and he'd got to the woods. And now people were scared of the woods back then because they were dark, they didn't know what was inside. Now Jack knew that if he went into the woods, most likely the villagers would not follow because they'd be too scared. He was a little scared too, but he waited up and went on in. Now he ran and he ran until he got to this big old tree, and he heard something up in the tree. And who'd you think was up there? That's right, it was the devil. The devil was up the tree, and he talked to Jack and he says, "Jack, what's wrong?" And Jack said, "Well, these fellas, they're all after me. I don't know why. I just forgot to pay my bill. It's just a total misunderstanding, but they're probably going to kill me if they get me." The devil says, "Well, that's no good. I'll tell you what if I turn into a big silver coin? Then you can give the coin to the villagers. That'll pay your bill, and they'll let you off." Jack was a little bit worried about this. He says, "Hey, there must be a catch." He says, No catch. The only thing is when you die, I get your soul." So Jack thought about it and he says, "I've probably got another 20 years left, or I've got about 20 minutes left if they catch me. I'll take the 20 years. So he says, "You're on." The devil turned into a big coin, landed on the ground. Jack took one look at it and he thought, "That's mine." Stuck it in his skyrocket in his pocket. So Jack thought to himself, I'm rich with this big silver coin." And he ran and he ran. And the devil was shouting at him through his pocket, "Hey, let me out, let me out, let me out." And Jack was saying, "Well, I can't really let you out, because it doesn't really help me out, because if I let you out, you're just going to take my soul afterwards." And now, what have we learned about the devil? 3 things. 1, he's the devil. 2, he can turn into silver coins. And 3, he can climb trees. But unfortunately, he seems not to be able to get out of fellas' pockets. So he was stuck. And he said, "Well, Jack, I tell you what, if you let me out, I'll rip up the contract and we'll be golden, we'll be done." So Jack says, "Hey, no worries." Lets him out, turns into the devil, rips up the contract, and off he trots. So Jack goes about his merry way, just going town to town and being as stingy as he likes, until he was in mid-70s, and then he died. Unfortunately, nobody came to his funeral, but who would? He goes up to heaven, he climbs all the stairway to heaven, and he gets to the top. St. Peter takes one look at him, and he says, "Hey, I'm not even going to bother to look in my book, because I know that you're not in it." Away, flicks him, falls down the stairway to heaven, all the way down to the bottom, and he goes to hell. And he goes up to the big gates of hell, and he lifts his hand up to knock the door, and the devil opens the door, and he says, "Well, we're in a bit of a quandary here, because I can't take you, because I ripped up the contract. You can't go to heaven, you can't come to hell. You're just going to have to live in limbo for the rest of your afterlife." So Jack, a bit disheartened, tail between his leg, turns around, walks away. And then he starts thinking, "Hey, I'm quite the clever one. I beat the devil." So he turns and he shakes his fist at the devil and says, "Yes, I'm better than you." The devil didn't quite like this, so he picked up a burning hot coal and threw it at Jack. And it was going straight for his forehead. Jack suddenly remembered, "I've got a turnip in my bag." So he pulls out the turnip and he protects himself. And the coal hits the turnip and lights it up. Now Jack has a lantern that he can see, and he can guide his way through limbo and through purgatory and scare away all the other ghosts. And that's how the jack-o'-lantern was born. Back in the days in Ireland, people were scared of the unknown, much like they are today. And we make up stories so that we can understand what we don't know. And that's exactly what they did. They would look out in the peat bogs and they would see the will-o'-the-wisps coming up. And the will-o'-the-wisps, they were just methane escaping, but at dusk they looked like little ghosts. So they thought that was maybe the Stingy Jack was coming back to get them. So they would carve a turnip with a scarier face than Jack and put it in the window so that it would scare Jack away when he came to get their stuff and protect them. And that's where the original jack-o'-lantern came from. Then when the potato famine happened and all the Irish people came over to America, they quickly found out that there were no turnips, so they couldn't continue this tradition. And that's when they started looking for other root vegetables. And in the modern age, pumpkins have become the popular jack-o'-lantern. And that's why we've seen the turnips decline and the pumpkins rise.